What up, YouTube? Now here closing the trailer tails as I have found myself in a parking spot because I am going to go take a shower. But before I do that, I thought I'd come and talk to y'all for a few minutes. Started making content a couple weeks ago, kind of chillaxed on that because I've been going through a little bit of a contemplative phase in my whole life experience. So I thought for a minute we could talk about that. Started out talking about the Mandela Effect a couple weeks ago because that was just one of the very many interesting things that I have studied in my experience of life. That and just about almost everything conspiracy related. I don't really get too much into the newer conspiracies that involve things like flat Earth and that kind of stuff because to me that's, as Warren Buffett called Bitcoin, rat poison. I think that's conspiracy rat poison. Not to say I agree with Warren Buffett about Bitcoin because I don't. But, he's smarter than me when it comes to money, so I'm not going to argue with the man. The point of this video, I guess, is to discuss what it is that we think we know. I spent the last couple weeks kind of considering that. I'm going to move the camera so you can see my face a little bit better. It's awful. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, you don't want to see all that. As you can see, I emptied my closet earlier. That's a little bit better right there. We'll do it that way. I started emptying my closet. That's why all that mess is back there, because I had to get to my satellite receiver that they put underneath my clothes. And I got a lot of laundry that needs to get done. But I'm headed home for a couple of days to take care of that. And my stepson's going to be coming out on the road with me. We're going to hang out for a couple of weeks and have a great time. But that's not what this video is about. I was thinking to myself a few minutes ago about how I've been struggling to come up with subjects to talk about, even though I've got a bazillion subjects in my mind that we could talk about. And I think the reason I've been struggling, not only am I new at this whole YouTube thing, but, or I should say, haven't done it in a long time, so I've kind of like, computers. I used to be really good, so good at computers that I actually worked at Dell in hardware, software, tech support. That's how good I was. I was really good with them. I can barely find Google now because I just got out of it. You get out of something, you quit doing something for a long time, and you kind of lose your touch. I've got a master's electrical license. That's a little different. It's more like riding a bike. I could probably jump right back in there, but I've been out of it for almost 2.5 years now. Uh, I still know it, but getting back into the swing of doing it would be difficult, right? And so that's why I probably ramble a lot on these videos about things, getting to the point. And I hope that as I continue to do this, I get better at staying on subject and not being all ADD all over the place, as is my nature. But, you know, we think we know all these things, right? Like I've studied all kinds of off the wall subjects from, esoteric subjects to conspiracy subjects to magic and, world history and yada, 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 yada. It goes on and on. But so my head's like all full of all this information, all this stuff I've crammed in there and analyzed and come up with my own views and opinions and put together. And I think a lot of us do that. We kind of have our own perspective of how we interpret information as we go along in life based on what we're into, what we like to watch, what we know a lot about. Everybody's different, right? But if you're a smart person, and I think most people are smart people, I know I like to make the joke that, 95% of y'all are stupid, but that's just a joke. I don't really think everybody is as dumb as some people come off as, because if that was the case, I'd look like a total dummy. I think we all have strong suits and we're all got weaknesses because we're all living from our own experience. And I think it's important that we reflect on what we think we know. Because the word know, it means it's almost like a factual thing. Well, I know this to be a fact, right? Based on my own research, based on whatever reasons I've come up with for knowing what I think I know. Do you? Because I've had to think about that a lot lately. Like, where do you get your information from, right? Is it a YouTube video? Is it, a textbook? Is it the media? Is it your friends? Is it, where do you get your information that at the end of the day you can say, I know? For example, I know 9/11 was an inside job. Do you? Were you there? Were you in on the conspiracy? Because if you weren't, how could you possibly know what really happened? You can put the pieces together. You can watch YouTube videos. You can say, well, that doesn't make sense. This adds up. That don't add up. And you could ask questions all day long. But to say you know anything, I think it was Socrates that said a wise man knows that he knows nothing. Wise woman, because, I'm all about equality. Um, Pretty profound statement, but we do know stuff, right? I mean, we know 2 + 2 = 4. I mean, you put two apples next to two other apples, there's four apples. You can't argue that. I mean, you could, but you'd look stupid, in my opinion. But then there's the rest of it, right? There's all these things that we have learned through education and self-education and curiosity that we think we know. And we're just kind of going along figuring it out as we go, right? So I guess my whole thing here is that I have been going through that kind of phase lately where I've been wondering, turning the curiosity back on and less of the discussion, because I discuss in these videos different areas of conspiracy, esotericism, occultism, that I find fascinating because these are my hobbies. Some people really like crossword puzzles. I really like magic books. It's just my thing. I mean, you know, um, but at the end of the day, don't take anything I say too seriously because just like you, I don't know anything. I only know what I think I know, right? And that's all subject to change based on new information. And I think that's the difference between a stupid person, and I hate using that word. I know I shouldn't because, it's an insult. And I'm trying not to be so insulting to people because it's unnecessary. But the difference between a thinking person and a non-thinking person is, can you step back from your own belief systems, from your own what you think you know, and question that? And can you change what you think you know based on new information? Or are you going to just deny that said information without even looking at it? I think that right there is the key to being able to go further down the path of knowledge, is just being able to make that take that step back and say, okay, been doing this 36 years. And what do I know really? Maybe not much. Anyway, talk to you soon.